Okay, so in part A, we're going to expand this binomial here using, of course, the expansion from the formula booklet. So we start off with 1 plus then n, remember, which is the power. So in this case, it's a third. And the x term is the second term in the bracket, which of course is 6x here. Okay, plus then, well, we've got then n, a power third. This then is the power reduced by 1, so we've got to take away 1 from a third, which will be negative 2/3, all over then 1 times 2, of course, which is 2, and then we've got to square then 6x, right? So put it in a bracket to show we're going to square it. So we'll simplify this then, so 1 plus then a third times 6 is 2, 6 divided by 3 is 2. Let's work out this first. So a third times negative 2/3 is negative 2/9. Divide by 2 is a negative 9th. And then in the bracket then squared, it becomes 36x squared. Okay. So we get then our answer to be 1 plus 2x. 1/9 times 36 is 4x squared plus dot dot dot. So in part 2 then it says what is the expansion valid for. So remember we've got to use this from a formula booklet, but we replace it with 6x. Okay, so that's positive 6. We can take it outside of the modulus. Because you're timesing by 6 here, we can take it over and divide. So we get 1/6. So in other words, the size of x is less than 6. So it's less than the positive 6, or it's greater than, can be greater than negative 6 there. Okay, so it's between negative 6 and positive 6. So in the next part then, in part B, it says use your expansion in part A to find an approximate value for one root of the equation. Okay, so let's write down the equation. Equals 2x squared minus 15x. Well, we've already expanded that, yeah, in part A. So when it says use your answer from part A, we'll just substitute the expansion in here. Not forgetting that there's a 2 here, so maybe a bit of a square bracket would be nice here. Okay, we'll put that expansion then. Equals then to 2x squared minus 15x. Let's then expand this bracket. Okay, so we get 2 plus 4x minus 8x squared. So you times everything in there by 2, doubled everything, equals then to 2x squared minus 15x. Okay, so we've got that equal to this, which they've given us. So we've got an equation, haven't we? So we need to get everything onto one side, okay, in order to establish what this would be equal to 0. Maybe we can solve it then. So in this case here, what we could do is take everything, well, let's take everything to the left hand side. That's 2 plus 4x minus 8x squared minus 2x squared plus 15x equals 0. So that becomes minus 10x squared plus 19x plus 2 equals 0. So we've got a quadratic, haven't we? We've got a quadratic. Now, of course, we don't like quadratics where there's a minus in front, so let's change the signs here. Divide by minus 1. And now we've got a quadratic, positive quadratic starting there. So now we've got to factorize it to get the two solutions out, where we could use the quadratic formula. Let's factorize it. So the method that we normally use is put 10x in both brackets. Okay, over here, of course, because there's a number in front, times that by the end number, so minus 20. So we need to think now of a pair of numbers that multiply to give 20. So we've got 1 and 20, yeah, 2 and 10, 4 and 5. But a pair that will get you to add up to minus 19. So of course, if we make that to be positive 1, negative 20, that will add up to give minus 19, and it'll times to give minus 20. So positive 1 minus 20 equals 0. Don't forget then, with this method of factorizing, we've then got to sort of pay back. We've got to divide by 10. The first bracket can't be divided by 10, but the second bracket can't be divided by anything. The first bracket can't, but the second bracket, definitely you can divide that by 10. So you get x there minus 2 equals 0. So you have then either 10x plus 1 is equal to 0, or x minus 2 is equal to 0. Okay, which means then we've got x equals 2 negative 1/10, or x equals 2. Now remember the question said to find one root, and we've got two answers out. However, only one of these is valid, because remember we've used the expansion here for this, and remember the expansion of this is only valid for these x values here. It's got to be contained within the modulus of 1/6. Okay, so clearly it's going to be that one, yeah, because that's less than the 1/6, or greater than minus 1/6. Okay, so the size of it is less than 1/6. That is outside. So you say since expansion is only valid, you need to give a reason, right, for this, then x equals minus 10th is the only root for the equation, to satisfy that equation.